Hello, Grotes.
Hi, guys. Yeah, it's been quite a day out here at Haugh with all the powers that be lining up and speaking to us. Ryan Poles was the only person to speak from Dan Bernstein's lectern out here at Haugh. It is the lectern.
On the podium.
On the podium.
At the lectern.
At the lectern. So he was given his space, and then right after we spoke to Ryan Poles, we were invited into the midway, the hallway, the atrium where people first walk into Haugh, and that's where they had another whole presser set up for Kevin Warren and, of course, George McCaskey as well.
Before we even get into all that, why did they have two separate locations for those three press conferences?
I think, honestly, we were talking about that in the media room, Marshall, and my answer to that is this is based on the last press conference that they had.
Oh, total separation.
Yeah. They wanted to make it very clear that the only person who will get the king treatment today, that will be given the lectern, given the podium, will be Ryan Poles, because he's the general manager of this team, and then the rest will just kind of be on the side out in the hallway. And from my perspective, that's fine.
What was your biggest takeaway from today, Mark?
I think, that's a difficult thing to narrow down because of everything that was said, but I would say that my biggest thing, a couple of things, are that Ryan Poles is still clearly in power. It was made clear that he is the general manager. Let there be no gray area at all. If a prospective head coach wants his own general manager, you're SOL. It's not going to happen. They made that pretty clear. They also said today that Ryan Poles, and this was different from the last time, that it felt like Kevin Warren was pretty hesitant to say who will actually choose the head coach.
Right.
What was slipped out this time, though, is that Ryan Poles will dictate the finalists, that he will, I think that word was used, that he will dictate the finalists. Now, they never said and never got around to answering this question, as you guys heard probably from listening to the press conferences. Very aggressive today out here. It was difficult to get in all of the questions that we wanted answers to, but the fact that he will dictate the finalists says to me that at least they are putting the appearance up that Ryan Poles will be the one to ultimately choose the head coach for this team. I guess the only other thing, too, that I would say that I thought was interesting in terms of a headline, and it may not have felt like it because it just sounded like a trite comment, but Ryan Poles said that he wants process over outcome this year instead of last year when it was outcome over process. And to me, what I infer from that is that Ryan Poles is allowing for the possibility that he skipped steps, that they were so excited to get offensive guys like Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze, and even bringing in Gerald Everett, and we know how that worked out, that they forgot to think about things like the offensive line and the defense.
Well, hopefully the line will be part of the process.
So he didn't get a contract extension? Well, because when Warren says a year is a lifetime.
Yeah, well, Dan, I should have mentioned that as part of my Poles headline. That he's still in power right now, but nobody is committing to him long term. Poles said that they were. Kevin Warren said that they were not committing to, or that they don't have to do that right now. That a year is a long time.
And then, when asked directly about the possibility that a head coaching prospect or a head coaching choice could want his own GM, he did not say that was a deal breaker.
Yeah, no, he said basically, that's why I said in the beginning that if the GM wants that, or I'm sorry, if the prospective coach wants that, they are SOL on that. Also, George McCaskey.
He didn't say that. He didn't say they're SOL. He left the door open to the possibility that move could be made.
Mark, it sounded like he said, that's not an appropriate question for me to answer right now, but he didn't take it off the table.
Yeah, he didn't say
that's how I took it.
He didn't say that's a non-starter.
If you heard it differently, let us know.
Yeah.
No, I'm willing to concede that. Maybe I didn't hear it completely correctly. I also thought it was interesting, too, that George McCaskey said something similar, that he does not need an extension to please the potential next head coach, that you don't have to do that.
Does that mean he hasn't gotten one?
Probably.
Yeah, that's how
Probably.
Okay, I read it as probably too, but not 100%.
Yeah, I would say that. And I mean, even Ryan Poles was all clammed up about when he was asked about that and if he's going to get an extension. And then he basically said that's personal. I don't want to talk about finances.
But he'll tell the candidates.
But he'll tell the candidates, absolutely.
So we'll find out.
Which means we'll know.
We'll find out soon.
yeah, we probably will know. I would imagine that some of those coaches or their agents would probably let that slide out so they don't look stupid if they go into the Bears organization.
And Mark, my other big thing was with George McCaskey was him not believing that alignment was not only important, but he just the way he kind of talked about it, like it's the Bears. They'll want to coach here. No one's ever asked me that before, so why would they want their own personnel people? It's the Bears. We're good. The proof is not in the pudding on that. You've got 3 losing seasons under this GM. One who told us at the beginning of the season it's time to win now.
There's a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, I think so, but what's your thoughts, Mark?
I think to some degree that is absolutely true. George McCaskey on his watch. I mean, the question was asked even about, what makes you think that you can get it right this time, that George McCaskey's been here for 14 years and he's had 3 general managers and he's had 4 coaches as well. There's no guarantee that they will do this correctly. We haven't seen it before, but I guess part of what I do like, or I'm not mad about, is that it does appear that they are allowing more voices in the room, which could be good or bad. And I don't have a problem with going through Ryan Poles' contacts that he has around the NFL to get word on these guys or to bring in the right candidate. Like, try this, because clearly under the past GMs, except for Jerry Angelo, he got Lovie Smith right, but he also had some bombs. Phil Emery had autonomy in hiring a head coach. He obviously didn't get it right. Ryan Pace had Matt Nagy, which his legacy is probably aging well because he wasn't horrible with the Bears. And then Ryan Poles hiring Matt Eberflus, and we all know how that worked out, and it worked out horribly in the end.
Well, and to me, I'm also wondering, based on what you heard on Sunday in Green Bay from the players and what you heard in the Caleb Williams and Thomas Brown press conference yesterday and how that sets up with what you heard today, can you tell or draw any sort of parallel that maybe they are on the same page about some things? Thomas Brown doesn't have to be, obviously, he's outside of the purview here. But that there is some sort of, is there a common thread between the players and what you've heard over the last couple of days out of front office, coaching staff, quarterback, and then everybody else?
Yeah, I think that the common thread seems to be the players wanting just a little bit more order in the locker room, a little bit more order on the practice field. I mean, we've been using the word discipline, but I don't even know if that's the right word. But I just think somebody needs to restore order, and that has been the common theme. With Caleb Williams talking about wanting to be challenged, with obviously several players, DeMarcus Walker saying it yesterday. We know Cole Kmet has had different versions of challenge us as well. And I asked Ryan Poles the question today, like, is that true? Is that something that we're just saying, or is that something this team needs? And Ryan Poles said, yes, that is something that they need. And this goes back to, because this was on the pregame show on the Bears radio network, in regards to Ryan Poles saying that this stuff started in camp. There was a follow-up question on that today. I think it was from Dan Wiederer on what was going on in camp. And basically Ryan Poles, just to oversimplify it, said that there were too many pre-snap penalties, that there was too much undisciplined play going on. So I think that that's the common theme from Caleb, from the players, from Ryan Poles, even to Kevin Warren to a different degree, that they need somebody who is going to restore order and bring some more discipline than that of the previous regime.
It seemed like the theme, appropriately, of the questions was, you keep talking about your processes and how you take pride in learning from your mistakes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and all the gobbledygook about outcome and process and collaboration, all the same stuff. But the tone was, you've been bad at this. Why should we expect you to now be good at it? And that's what I can't answer, is that the Bears came in with kind of a swagger, a completely undeserved swagger of like, we believe in this, we believe in that, and all. They kept naming names and names and names, and we've got people who work for Ryan Poles. They should be general managers. Like, according to who?
Yeah,
and what happened with a 10-game losing streak this year? I mean, it's like, what have they been watching to carry themselves with this kind of continued arrogance when they're just not good at what they do?
They're the Bears.
Yeah, I caught that too, Dan. The part where they give the interview panel, which, by the way, is Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, George McCaskey, Jeff King, who is part of Poles' staff. He's very close with him. Matt Feinstein, who is a football admin guy. Liz Geist, who's the human resources.
Karen
HR.
Murphy was mentioned.
Yep, Karen Murphy. But to your point, Dan, he mentioned that Ian Cunningham, they're not making him part of this because they want him to, or at least I guess they are assuming that he is going to get interest from other teams and they want him to just be able to go through that process. But I'm thinking to myself, how can the value of Ian Cunningham, and we all like Ian Cunningham, and we don't know what part exactly he plays here.
They should all be GMs according to the
But
the
I
owner.
thought that was a little bit weird because the conversation coming up into this day was speculation about Ryan Poles, and there was no doubt to them, it sounds to me, like that Ryan Poles was coming back, and Ryan Poles even took exception to some of the conversations that he was hearing about his relationship with Kevin Warren, and I think that he was suggesting that he couldn't believe that people were speculating about his job. But I do think it's odd that they brought up Ian Cunningham like he's going to go get a job now during a season where the Bears lost 10 in a row. But also to answer the other question that you were alluding to, Dan, and that is the process. Yeah, I think all of us sat here and said, okay, this is probably what they're supposed to say. They trust their process. They like their process. They like their guys. But yeah, they've earned zero trust when it comes to hiring a head coach or building a team properly. So the only thing you could say is, okay, we'll see. We've heard similar things before, and that was basically the theme of what George McCaskey was saying, that oh yeah, we trust Ryan, and we've heard that before. We've heard those exact words before when it was Ryan Pace, that we trust Ryan Pace, we trust Matt Nagy. So they're like the whole, like, no, people listening, that they don't have to trust this team. I will say again, this search is different from past searches for a few reasons, and not necessarily huge reasons. They did say they're not using an outside search firm except for background, which is fair. You do have the power of Kevin Warren, and we'll see. We'll find out what that's all about. And they are very proud to be saying how wide of a cast that they are netting, or how wide of a net they are casting for this coaching search, which includes not ruling out the possibility of giving up resources to trade for a coach. So I guess those are good things. I believe that the net that is being cast, though, is more for the public to consume and to show, or at least give the appearance that they're looking at everybody. There will be no stone that is unturned. They will go anywhere they have to go to bring in the new head coach. So I think some of that is public relations, but I do think that is different. Those things, whether good or not, I don't know, but those things are different from the way that they have hired head coaches in the past.
All right, when we do this again, I'm sure we'll talk again. But
that's so funny, man. Like the answer you just gave, like that's the answer to. All right, I got you. I hear you. We'll see.
What's left?
Can't wait till the college coaches start interviewing too.
I'm telling you, when they announced Pat Fitzgerald,
I got two words for y'all: Ryan Day.
When they announced Pat Fitzgerald, when they get through all of this and all of their secret people. And then they trot out great leader of men and the guy who's going to go to church with Virginia McCaskey, who's got experience. When they walk him out there, just remember, because that's all of their lofty ambitions and everything else Or
Mike
it's gonna
Kafka is introduced as the next head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Stop.
And
leader of men.
there it is.
Stop.
And then we'll
Did
say,
he go to Northwestern too?
Yes.
oh, yeah,
did.
St. Rita guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
the St.
Pieces
Rita.
are the
Yep.
pieces are coming into place.
Mike Kafka has been hired, and the reaction is, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see where this leads.
I mean, that is, I know you guys got to go, but that is so, like with everything, having been through these coaching searches, having followed this organization since the 80s, that is the answer. Because even when, like, think about past head coach, when Matt Eberflus was hired, it was, all right, okay, this guy who's hot in India. Even Matt Nagy, when he comes over from Kansas City, Andy Reid says he's great, and this guy could unlock Mitch Trubisky. All right, let's see. There's never been a time when we're like, yes, do that. No, it's all right.
All right. Grote.
Put the hands on the hips, tilt
Grote.
the head.
Yes.
All right.
I'm looking at you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.